You know who he is. This is Hey Bray J Today.
Hey Bray J, hey Bray J, hey Bray J today. Hey Bray J, hey Bray J, hey today with Bray J. Hey Bray J, hey Bray J, hey Bray J today. Hey Bray J, hey Bray J, hey today with Bray J.
Hey, Bray J here. Welcome to our new edition of Hey Bray J Today, a part of Season 2. So excited to be here at McNeese State University. We're talking with our friends, the creators of Involve You. You can call it the new Facebook, if you will. Its main purpose, serving McNeese State University students. We're going to find out more from all of our guests. Of course, we're thankful to have our friend Aaron Myers. We have Chris Darbrone and Garrett Benoit. So excited to have you guys. And of course, our friend Taylor Vinicet, correctly? Did I say it right?
Correct.
Okay, he's unable to be here with us, had a prior obligation. So I'm so excited to be talking with you guys. When I first heard about this app, I literally started getting super excited, and I think Aaron was like, "Okay, can you, calm down just a bit?" It's so cool to see when creatives are in Lake Charles and actually get to do what they love. And this started from something that I think many would agree. You know, if you've been a student on campus, you do want to be involved. But at some point, between juggling school and maybe work and personal life, it's like, how do I keep up with everything going on? And so you guys have come up with a simplified way for people to know what's going on, but also hopefully enticing them to, get involved and stay involved. So I want to start off by asking you this question, Aaron. What was McNeese's response when you told them, hey, we're working on this project, we've come up with this application? What was their response to you?
Well, I'll say the first big response, when I first came up with the idea, I talked to my advisor, Ketchup Nicholas. He's over all students, and at first he was just he looked at me, he's just kind of threw it off, he's not thinking something that would happen. Until I told him, I was hey, I got some people lined up that we're gonna make this happen, and him glowing, saying oh, this might actually be a really big thing and stuff. That was already a big motivation for me to keep on going with it. And then once we started spreading the word out that there was an app that would promote all these events, people one by one were saying man, I don't know how that's not out so far. So hopefully that momentum keeps on pushing, and when we do a big old push soon, we'll blow up.
Now, of course, so what's so exciting about this, when you think about the Facebooks of the world, they started off primary purpose serving the student body. And if you think about it now, Facebook is really something that many of all ages depend on, to keep in touch with friends and relatives, but also from the aspect of getting a lot of the information, what's going on in our community. And so who knows where this app will lead? And of course, here in Lake Charles specifically, many in the community, from our mayors to our other public leaders, many of them say, how do we tap into McNeese State University? What's going on there? And so we have hopes that this is going to help connect McNeese State University, particularly the student body, but also the organizations and the leadership here with the rest of our Lake Erie community. So if you can, Aaron, kind of give me an idea, backtracking, give us a timeline of how this all started and what brought this about.
Well, Brandon, like I said, I was involved, president of 4 different organizations, and I explained to everybody, I was with a budget of just $200 for a year to $200,000, and we equally, in all of these organizations, had a really hard time, just spreading the word that we have events going on. I know from KA to some of our philanthropy events that we do in the New Ranch to all the way down to Student Life Coalition, where we threw a big old $40,000 crawfish boil. We had an attendance of 460 plus students, I want to say. And you may think it's a lot, but with the assessment that only $16 per student, combined with the big old budget that we have for the crawfish bowl, that's $60 per student. And then we still had really bad responses of hey, I didn't find out that it was a crawfish bowl, or I didn't know, I wish I'd have known. Where's my money going to if I can't hear about it? But the biggest problem is, the best tool, like you said, Facebook. It only reaches out to the people that It don't really branch off to people that you don't know or that you haven't seen, or somebody from Minnesota comes down to Louisiana and obviously he's not going to know you unless he's a relative. So with this app, as long as we can spread the word of downloading the app, everybody's going to be on the same page. and then from a click of a button, your event gets broadcast to the whole university and everybody that has it. So that's the biggest motivation on that.
And so when you approach your friends with your concept, kind of give me an idea of the concept, how that part came about. What made you realize I'm going to an app?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I kind of joke on sometimes. Like, I'll be saying, hey, have you heard about this event? And then we're like, no, I had no idea. I was like, well, man, if you download the app, you might be able to know about it, So it is a little fun thing. And just the fact that it's just on a click of a button of an app and it's so simplistic. You don't have to look online. You have to go, like, even if you want to go to Facebook, you actually have to, like, type and search certain organizations to see. But to have just a simple button that you can see everything going on, that just makes life easier as it is right there,
So tell us what it was like working with your friends on this. It's not too often you get to develop a business where your friends are integral part of what you're doing.
Well, I didn't know Chris at the beginning. I knew Garrett. We were in the same fraternity, and I joke with him all the time. I was blowing his phone up at like 3 a.m. one night. I was trying to study about this idea I had thought of. Obviously, he didn't answer the phone. He was sleeping. So he called me back the next day, like already aggravated. He's like, "What on earth do you want?" Told him about the idea. I was like, hey, like, do you know how to program an app? Like, do you know anything about that or anybody that could do that? And he was like, yeah, I've been kind of feeling around a little bit. And he brought in Chris and Taylor, and then, you want to go through that story with them.
Yeah. So, as Aaron said, whenever he called me that night, checked my phone, realized it was him, kept calling me, so I just went ahead and put it off. And whenever I woke up the next day, I went ahead and I called him and I asked him what his big idea was. He explained it to me, and I thought it was a good idea because McNeese doesn't have that. And if I had that coming in as a freshman, I think I would have started doing a lot more stuff around campus, just because it would be so much easier for me to find out about the things. And so we started collaborating and coming up with ideas of not just events on campus, but what else can we add to it, make it more of a complete package, not something that you just open up and you just what's going on today, but like a whole ecosystem of stuff. And so as we went to the pitch competition, that was whenever I was taking a business class with Dr. Stevens, and he recommended us do the pitch competition. So me and Aaron started talking, we got a business plan together, and we got first place in the competition. And so that's how we kind of knew that we had a good idea. And so over time, we ended up talking with the university. I forget exactly when that was, but we were talking with the university. We ended up talking to President Williams, finally getting in and talking to him, and he really liked the idea, and he wanted to help us in any way that he could. And we told him that we didn't need money, we needed just assistance, just actually getting us a place to work at and a place to collaborate. That's whenever he recommended us to go over to the Seed Center, and we moved in there. And as I started working on it, that's whenever I talked to Chris and Taylor, and because I knew I was going to need help with this, and it's always better working with people that you know. And I recruited them, and they began working on some of it, and we all collaborated together, and we were, the rest from there.
Now tell me this, when it comes to these pitch competitions, of course, many businesses across the country will always say, for the rest of time, that it was because of those opportunities that they were able to find the investors, that they were able to get that confidence in their product or their service. What was that process like for you guys, being in a pitch competition?
Nerve-wracking at first, I ain't gonna lie to you. It was, man. I remember we practiced like day and night. Like Gary had a good platform, we had a good PowerPoint. We reviewed it. We went with some of our friends, and then we got there, and they was like, "Yeah, you got 6 minutes." And when he said that, I was scared. I was gonna go under or over. Like I didn't really know exactly. When we practiced it, I still just had it in the back of my head. Like if I talk too fast or if I just go on too much with it. And so we had watched. We were lucky enough to be like the last one in our group. We were able to see what the other ones were doing before we went up there. And the first one, he kind of got roasted, So then I was like, oh man, like this thing's gonna be good. They're gonna be really
during
good
the feedback portion.
Yeah, the feedback portion, or the questioning portion, I should say.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, how on earth do you think you can make money? And then the second one came up, and it was pretty. He had his stuff together, so I was like, all right, well, they didn't really bite his head off as much, so I think that's the kind of competition. But whenever me and Garrett went through the whole motions of all the practicing we did, and then the questions we had, we answered them just like to a T. And there was like no biting heads off. There was more of like, give me more. Like I want to know more about this. Like that was really encouraging. And then also we had to wait like 3 hours for like the results came back. They had Raising Cane, so that helped out.
Of course.
Yeah, that was very. That was
I mean, think about it. You know, I think people forget the story today. The guy whose professor told him no one's going to go to a place that just serves chicken tenders, and everybody depends on Raising Cane's. So yeah, you're in good company. It was kind of like a nod from Todd Graves himself, like I got you. And so tell us how your other guys came into play. Of course, the war of the Android world and the Apple world.
Right.
How do you help meet both demands?
Oh, well, we joke about that quite a bit.
We definitely have kind of a running joke in the office, which one's better, back and forth. But honestly, I've been super lucky to be a part of this team. And so, honestly, I'm pretty much the poster boy for this issue, is that I wasn't as involved on campus when I was here. I did want to be a part of the Greek life stuff, and that's pretty much the only thing that I heard about because they've got the best advertising. And so, but if I'd heard about some of the smaller organizations on campus, I definitely would have wanted to be a part of that. And so when I heard about this app, I met Garrett through a mutual friend, and I immediately was excited about it because growing up, I've always loved technology. I've always wanted to own my own business and run it, and so this has been a dream come true for me, and I've been extremely lucky to be a part of the team. And so ever since we came on and got into the Seed Center, it's just been hitting it and putting our all into it, and it's been a great experience for all of us, a great learning experience. And so, building the Android side has been a lot of fun, but it definitely, gets to, we have a lot of joking back and forth between the iOS and Android.
And actually, so actually, and I'm sure Chris can agree too, putting together an app that that people are actually going to be using, it's intimidating because we're students. We studying computer science over here at McNeese, and we haven't had actual, people actually using a product that we make. And so actually making sure we get it right the first time, it's been a very big learning experience.
Especially working in a team the way we are, especially because we're so small. Everybody has their own ideas, and the way you implement something in Android versus iOS is so different that it's been, a big team growing experience trying to get our first version of the app out and have it be similar in both of them, but still have, the features that are specific to that platform. So it's been a great team growing experience as well.
That's amazing. Of course, Involve You available. Tell them how they can download it.
Download in the App Store or Google Play. Once it's work. Easy to download. Like I said, click a button, log yourself in, and you see everything that's going on with McNeese. We have a meeting with Nick Hunterberry coming shortly, getting Lake Charles involved as well. So download the app.
If you're an organization leader, definitely let us know, and we'll get you on ASAP.
And so, of course, a huge part for me is always knowing the creators behind the app. That's something that you rarely get to see. And if you think about their mindset, if you think about their skill set, or even if you take it back to when they were in school, which in this situation, these guys are currently enrolled here at McNeese, they get to see the fruits of their labor come to full circle, if you will. They're going to be able to see these events that are put on the app and be able to see the students and how they responded to it. So kind of tell us, of course, you were kind of the conceptual guy. You had the light bulb moment. Kind of give us a little idea of, how McNeese, of course, you told us that you were the president of numerous organizations, but tell me how that and school itself played a role in this moment, kind of seeing it all come full circle to this point after the launch.
Well, I can kind of backtrack away from day one. It's like when I first came to McNeese, again, didn't know anybody. Didn't know any organizations on campus. I barely knew Greek life. That's saying he's be president of a Greek organization. Kind of thinking back to when a student of my caliber of coming to a city, much less a university, where you don't know anything. I remember one time I got lost one time trying to drive around. There was an app back then for me to get involved like that instead of going all over the place and getting super involved and stuff like that. It definitely would have cleared the way to getting everything lined up way sooner. And then there's students out there that aren't like me that will go approach people they don't know, and they're just more of like, I'm just gonna stay in my dorm, or I'm just gonna go to work and go to school, and that's it. It's not because they don't want to get involved. It's because sometimes you don't want to go out there, and you want them to come to you. And so with this app, I mean, if you want to get involved in your pre-vet society or into a fraternity that your dad used to be in, or vice versa, sorority, all you gotta do is download the app, check out the organization, see their events, see who's in charge of it, contact them personally through via message, and get all set up just like that, instead of like the old way where it is right now, where you gotta have to go out of your way and find these people. So.
And then what about you and your story? Kind of give us an idea, from your perspective, the genius that your mind can handle that I would never be able to do. Seeing it from that perspective, how would you say that plays a role?
Like coming here to McNeese?
That part, but then seeing the app from the technical side.
So whenever Aaron first told me about the idea, I realized it was a good idea, and then I started thinking of how do you make this a reality? Because a lot of what we learn at McNeese in the computer science department is a lot of theory, and so there's not a whole lot of practical things that we do. So we're not actually, for example, like building real web pages. We learn the concept of how to do it and the behind the scenes, the programming that's involved. And so having to think of how to make an app that is user-friendly, that's fun to use and easy to use, and an interface that looks good and everything that works together, and making it like a complete package that all the goals that we're trying to hit, all the important points for the checklist. And that was as soon as I started thinking about that, it was my mind switched from okay, it's a good idea to how can we make this a reality, and what help will I need along the way to make this a reality. So that's when I started thinking about all the people that I do know in the department and who could help me.
And as far as you, we're kind of talking, as far as you deciding this is something I have to be a part of because I represent Android, but at the same time, being a student where you're like, okay, I want it to be more involved, I want it to have that part of my life enhanced. What's your input on that?
Like I said, it's something that I've always wanted to do, and as a computer science student, you always want to find that project that's going to be original that you can put out there. Everybody wants to be the next Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, and so to find something that was original, whether it's not necessarily the original idea, but our business strategy that we're using is super original, and to have something that people actually need and we found interest in has been extremely awesome to be a part of and to work on, and to see that potential and work on that as a student coming out of McNeese. It's just been really, really eye-opening as far as, real-world jobs. Like you said, it's been a lot of theory thus far, but to actually see something and not only have to figure out how to do the design, but to how to market it to people and how to make it a reality, it's all been such a great learning experience. And I feel like McNeese has really prepared us for that with that theory that they taught us. And so as a student, seeing to be able to make somebody else's college experience even better than mine was, it's just really exciting.
It's very humbling also.
Very nice.
Hopefully we can see it in action over the upcoming semesters. We can see students getting more involved.
And of course, Aaron, I wanted you to kind of give me a little background. You're someone who interacts with lots of students. Of course, you work at a very well-known bar in general for the community. It's pretty much like a legacy bar, if you will. But at the same time, a lot of students frequent there. And so I was very honored to be invited to the launch party that you had. And to see how the students there, it definitely felt like a different night than just a normal Wednesday night or Friday night. It felt like everyone there was there celebrating with you and what you all had done. And so kind of tell me what that experience was like for you to be at a place where you go and you work, but at the same time you're able to celebrate that night and really take in all the fun that you guys had put so much work toward.
Man, it was a cool experience. I seen all my friends over there. All you people. I love all the love they was giving me and everything like that. I guess throughout the whole entire year, my years at McNeese, meeting all these individual people one by getting involved in different organizations, stuff like that, and for all of them to come in and celebrate my future success. I'm not gonna say success yet. We want to see where it goes. It was really, really cool. There's really no words to put in it. Besides just I was. Exactly no word. I was just so happy for it. They were awesome.
Very cool. And of course, OBs, of course, if you're no stranger to Hey Bray J, you know that we utilize OBs as one of our spots in town. They love community, they highlight community. And so to see something like this in partnership with them in that way to serve as a launch space, I was all about it. So it was really cool to see that. So what next? What can we anticipate in the rest of 2017? Of course, I know that you're going to be focused more so on the student body, making sure the organizations are signing on board, but kind of give us a little idea of what we can anticipate coming up.
The biggest thing right now, we're getting as much organizations as we can right now. So whenever for future, especially when spring launches, we do a big old push to get the students involved. We'll have all these events lined up for them, and then we want to get ultimately transition to the city till we get city events. So not only do students get involved in McNeese, students get involved with the community, and then the community not just getting involved with the community, but the community getting involved with McNeese, whether it's like philanthropy, sporting events, theater plays, stuff like that. So we want to do a little go-go for each side, for McNeese supporting the community and vice versa. And then when March comes around, we plan on launching to other universities and doing our Louisiana tour and capturing Louisiana, and then we'll just spread from there. So
Very nice. And I think that's what's so special. We were going back and forth, and for sure McNeese has over 7,000 students enrolled. But then if you start looking at those who are dual enrolled, the high school students who were taking classes here, the online students, there's a huge population that are on campus. And so one institution, if you will, having that many people connected is huge. And so from someone who served on the Arts Council Board, and so many things involved with the city, I know that that's been a huge need. And so I'm so thankful that you are focused on the students. That's your core. But realize that you've created something that no one else has been able to really tap into, and that's getting the student body to be aware of what's happening outside of that too. So of course, we're all waiting patiently. We want it to grow organically. We want to see it, be the best that it can be. But of course, when you enter that phase, when the city gets to actually see what's going on with the students, and the students are starting to make their way, throughout the city, that for me will be a dream come true. So I thank you guys, because I'm sure you're starting to realize it, but you are totally helping to create a solution to something that many of us have been wanting to solve for years. So thank you guys for all that you've done so far.
I appreciate it, Fred.
Thank you very much.
All right. And of course, you can download the app on Google Play and of course iOS. And what's exciting about this is that when you think about the access, it literally is as easy as a click of a button, as you
Click of a
said.
button on your phone, yeah.
And I've already gone and checked it out. So many events already posted. And so, of course, involve you. It's that simple. And you can thank these guys for making your life a little bit easier. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And of course, we look forward to doing a follow-up to see how things are going.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Hey Bray J Today. Thank you so much. Of course, HeyBrayJ.com for more details. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, these guys also have a Facebook page. You can follow them on social media as well. Involve you. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
More coming your way from Hey Bray J Today.